Deep in the Negev, Israel-born youth are working on a tract of land redeemed with the $350,000 raised by the labor division of the Jewish National Fund. Berel Katznelson, the great spiritual leader of labor Zionism, has been honored by having a Jewish National Fund settlement, Be'eri, named after him. Gaza Strip, Be'eri is exposed to daily dangers. By helping form new settlements in the Negev, the Jewish National Fund increases the security of Be'eri and all of Israel. Before had taught that the future of the Jewish people was linked with the soil, that a truly independent nation drew its inspiration from direct contact with nature.
Ruth west in Sasa, who would have dreamed of raising cattle high in the mountains of Galilee.
Even the aggressive vigor of the machine cannot change the loneliness of man in the barren expanse. The modern tractor looks like some prehistoric, but the furrow in its wake fallen in this area. Even the air itself seems to have turned into diver's meat at the end of another day of dust, and more dust. Sprinklers fling their drops of water with the same. This is not just idle speculation. For the flock, the lambs will have to be sacrificed. Of every single lamb, and will defend his flock to the last. The road is difficult and dangerous. The dry dust covers the eyes, enters the nose, the ears, and the mouth. Flocks all around. But the shepherd... Service in this hotel is so courteous, and indeed the ladies pay generously in white. The health and energy of the little helpers in the cowshed are the best proof that the enterprise is successful. They come here to supervise matters. Whoops! Now that's not the way to serve a cowherd dinner. Every child looks after one of the customers, and each cow proudly bears the name of her benefactor. Miriam. Yossi, Nurit, Yafa, Dov, Little Rami, and Ore. And here is his present kingdom. Kingdom? No, it's a real empire. And Tepper is a proud, generous, kind-hearted emperor. Efficient, too. This entire feather empire is Tepper's handiwork. At first, the members of the kibbutz used to ridicule him. They laughed at his stubborn dream of breeding turkeys. But they have grown to respect his craze, which has become one of the major branches of the farm.
establishment of the state in 1948. Over 500,000 from the Arab countries, where they lived for centuries at peace with their neighbors until the growing hostility of Arab governments made their lives unbearable. It will take some time before their aches and pains disappear, but their reward will be a land once barren, made rich and prosperous by their own labor. While the children are at school or kindergarten, some of the women supplement the family income through work in the fields. Soil and climate at Geffen are suitable for a variety of cash crops. Flax, cotton, tobacco, all will thrive here.
As it is written in the Psalms, the righteous shall flourish as the date, and dates have become one of the principal crops here. This is the story of the Arava, a story of Israeli ingenuity, persistence, and daring. Against harsh odds, this hot, barren land has become a profitable winter garden. Adverse climate conditions were turned into advantage. There may be snow in Europe, rain in Jerusalem, but here they harvest peppers, tomatoes, and melons, often with the help of Jewish volunteers from overseas. These youngsters from Argentina are a living link between the diaspora and the desert. Some will return to settle here. Others will go back home, able to tell the story. The crops are flown in cargo planes to grace the tables of Britain, France, and Germany. To Europeans, the Israeli melon is a delicious first course. To Israel, it is a solid export item. It was in 1953, at the age of 67, that David Ben-Gurion retired to what was then the southernmost farming settlement in Israel, Sde Boker. The old man was showing the way to younger generations, but his dream was not to be fulfilled in his lifetime. Not everyone is made of that kind of steel. A fishnet in the wilderness may not be a mirage. Fish ponds were made to catch the runoff saline waters from the plantations. The hot climate encourages the breeding of fish. At the Eilat Oceanographic Laboratory, they are convinced that fish breeding will soon be a profitable desert industry. Where do such ideas originate? They are a consequence of the economics of the wilderness based on scientific knowledge. It is to be maximum out of the minimum.
Yes, this area where the rose of Sharon once bloomed was among the most pestilential in Palestine, when a handful of Jews settled it and restored its ancient biblical name, Emekhepa. To kill the dread mosquitoes, the carriers of malaria, they pumped oil upon the waters. And they drained the marshes and dug irrigation canals. For the precious water without which there can be no life, they laid their water mains. And the water sprung fresh and sweet from the earth. Water for the 12,000 people soon to come to Emeketa. Water for 20 new villages, all built in the past 2 decades. What these pioneers have made to grow is sold by a great cooperative organization, which is also responsible for the many and varied public services designed to benefit all the individuals of the community. One of the early leaders of the pioneer movement, Kva Vidkin, in a few short years, has become a thriving settlement. Here as elsewhere in Jewish Palestine, a cooperative activity has been developed.
Came out 30 years ago from the ghettos of Europe to found this colony had never handled a plow. But they were possessed by 3 ideals: land, liberty, and labor. Hence their capacity to endure and their ability to learn. Hence, to get down to cases, the 8 Jewish communities of Germany and Poland. Side by side with the older colonists, they plow, plant, reap, build, their lives completely transformed, the horrors of persecution receding into a dim memory. For these newcomers, the violent transformation from the ghetto dweller into the land worker is
But in the valley of Jezreel, spring now comes to find the fertile fields of the new colonies, where from ancient times till 20 years ago were mainly swamps. Yet the people of Palestine follow the ancient agricultural calling and enjoy the same simple pleasures of music and dancing. So spring comes to find fragrant groves covering the landscape for many miles. One of the most gorgeous sights of Palestine is a grapefruit or orange grove in March, when the fragrance of the blossoms begins to fill the air at the same time as the last of the ripened fruit hangs heavy on the trees. Arab and Jew, old and young, all in raising oranges that grow sweeter and juicier in this favored soil. Under the health-giving rays of a sun so dazzling that even the oranges pale by contrast.
דבר, בעצמי נרפאתי גם אותך רפא. נו, הרים את הראש יא חביבי, הרים את הראש!